Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, back again with another video. I wanted to talk about the bonus content this week. We are doing bonus content once a week now. Um, this is a segment basically where I come in and I talk about something, um, not necessarily statistically referenced, but something that I feel is going on in the game of baseball and something I have seen from my watchings of baseball and everything I observe. So this week we're going to talk about the topic of the new rules, the pitch clock, everything going on with the game of baseball. It has been roughly 10 games for the Brew Crew. Um, exactly 10 games, 10 games for every team. And the big piece here that everybody's talking about is the pitch clock and in the time of these games. So the big thing that I want to talk about tonight is just what it's really impacted and how it changes how we watch baseball. So I think when we all initially heard that they were going to monkey with the rules, the size of the bases, hey, they look like pizza boxes, is what they said. We were all like, oh gosh, what is this going to do for the game of baseball? What is this? How is this going to affect the game we love? And just my observations, a couple top things that I really saw that I really was like, oh God, this is gonna suck. I was like, oh, it's gonna cut down time, it's gonna cut down the experience at the ballpark. Um, and now the season a week in, I've been to two, and I've talked to a lot of people who've been to the games here in Milwaukee, and everybody's really enjoying it. The overall thing is that we are enjoying it. And when you go to a game and it's fast paced action, it is such a better experience. You don't need your cell phone. You're not going to sit there and scroll between. You don't have time to do that. Even watching at home on my television, I don't have time to sit and stare at my phone. I'm going to miss something. I was watching. I mentioned so many plays that I missed in the first couple of days because I was just watching and scrolling Twitter and doing things on my phone, and you can't do that anymore. Now you've got to zone into the game. As far as the pitch clock and the violations go with this time of game thing, they're hardly even noticeable, and they don't really have like a PA system, which would be the one benefit that I think would really need to be added to make this that much better. Um, it would just speed up the process and help us as fans. I know they're aiming to have a point where there is no pitch clock violations, but I still think you need to mic up the umpires and let us know what's going on in the game. I think that's the one disconnected part. Every time a review happens or an argument happens, I think the umpires need to be mic'd up and just come on and say, Craig Counsell is challenging the play at second base, whether the runner is out or not. And let us know because that'd make that disconnect even better. It'd be better for ball game experience for fans in the park. Um, and that's a minor request. I mean, I think they could figure that out. I mean, football does it, basketball does it. Most major sports do that. You don't have the game announcers when you're sitting in the stands. So that would be important to me. That'd be one minor tweak that I could see with these new rules if we could just get some kind of knowledge of that. Now, the other thing is they're few and far between. I mean, I look at this stat line every day when I do my live sessions and I talk about this, and I'm like, there really isn't that many calls and that many things they're really, they're quick, they're to the point. We move on. Now, as far as the bases, I do like, and these kind of all fit together. I mean, when they designed this, when Theo Epstein is the man that's really kind of behind this whole thing, um, decided to implement these rules. They made sure they all fit seamlessly together. The lack of shifting um, creates more opportunity for players to get on base via the standard single double. We're not all aiming for home runs, which for a team like Milwaukee, who's lived and died by the long ball for years, I think that era is slowly dying. I mean, we're winning games. Uh, we didn't start hitting long balls until we got back to Milwaukee, and even then, we didn't really. It's not like we've hit a ton of long balls. I think we've got 6, 7, 8, 10, maybe so far in the season so far, which isn't a ton comparison. You're playing the game at a different level. You're going for base hits, you're going for walks, you're going for steals. Just different level, making it more competitive, more action based, which is better. Um, and hopefully it's going to affect the numbers. With a weekend, it's hard to say. I might revisit this a few times, but I'm not going to constantly beat this up because I think it's overly talked about. And we just don't need that. Like, I get for maybe the first month. If at the end of April we're still talking and advertising new rules in the game, then you're falling flat. Then you need to start talking about the all stars and who's the future and the future of the game. That's what you need to build on after that. So I know they're going to run the campaign all year. It's just a wait and see. You're going to see it all season long. They're going to talk about these new rules and really pump them up. They have, I don't know if you've noticed, they have like little audio clippets explaining the rules on like MLB TV. I think Bally has them, the radio. There's all kinds of different little snippets explaining it. It's like, okay, I think we all get it. All the regular baseball fans have at least watched or been to or seen a game since the season started. If you're not, if you're new, if you're just turning the channel on, then yes, you may not understand the rules, but you probably don't understand all the rules in total anyways. There's a lot of rules to baseball. There's sometimes rules that still surprise me, so I don't know that really matters too much. The other thing I am truly enjoying about the new game is it's just giving our team, who already has knowledge of these rules, a time to shine. And I'm sure across the league, the rookies, the guys who are new to the game, fresh call ups, are going to be better with this stuff because they've played with these rules longer. It's just a fact of the matter. So that's my update. And really, I just want to say, MLB, you got to drop the advertising at some point here. Stop pressing the new rules. We get it. We've changed it. We've made it better. And I really enjoy that they made it better. Like, what's how could you perfect something that a good amount of people love and a great game? You really, honestly, I didn't think you could. I didn't think there was any perfecting that needed to happen. The old adage is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, baseball wasn't broken. They just wanted to bring in more revenue. I was just looking up our good friend Theo Epstein, who is credited with a lot of this current rule change and current progress that we have made. He's an outside in January of 2021. MLB hired Epstein as a consultant for on-field matters. So basically, he's like a third party that is trying to help the game. He works for a different company. So this is where I'm going to get into the information because there is information actually out there about this. And of course, we can credit Theo Epstein with the wins for the World Series wins for Chicago and Boston. Both cursed teams, both broke the curses.
He's a special consultant, not VP of baseball fitness ops, but for the past 2 years, he's played a huge role in the rules changes and have gone on the bulletin board at every ballpark on the continent. Here's a more riveting listen. Oh, so this is actually the podcast. So the podcast was on the Athletic podcast, and it just goes into him talking about how it was needed to make baseball better, how the change came about, um, and where we're saving time and what the impacts of that are on the long haul of the game. I think it's going to be good for the players in the long haul too. Um, but there's a lot of wait and see on this. What we've learned, learned so far from the pitch clock, what he misses most, the 1,000 batting glove adjustments or full chorus of every walk up song. Epstein said he missed the free bathroom breaks uh, where you aren't going to miss gameplay if you go to the bathroom. What we should take away from the 25 missing minutes from every game. The time of game is important, he said, but if we focus on time of game numbers, we're missing the part that's much more significant, namely the pace of these games. The pace of play is something more emotional, more visceral, he said, and I think the general reaction to watching the pace of play is that the way baseball is meant to be played. Frankly, is the way it was played for most of history. You know, Bill James made a great point a while back about how there used to be a pitch timer in the old days. It was called the sun. So they're taking a nod, obviously, to the fact that they didn't have lights. Um, and when you had to get in games with no lights, when you had to get the game before sundown, or maybe even get a double header, no one was stepping out of the box. No one was adjusting anything. It was, hey, let's get this thing in while we still can. And that's the way pace evolved. I'm blaming bad results on feeling rushed. I asked him about Phillies catcher JT Realmuto's comments to the Athletic. With the pitch clock, you can't ever slow the pitcher down, and grumblings from pitchers and hitters in the first week. I guess I'd make 2 points in response. The first is about adjustment period. We've learned in the rollout in minor leagues, and the second is about listening. In the minor leagues, players did adjust, he said, and they also gave us qualitative feedback that after about 3 or 4 weeks playing under the time pitch timer rules, it's because the second it became blah, 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 blah. It became second nature and not something they even had to really think about. They adjusted their routines, their natural rhythms to coincide with the parameters of pitch clock. But if issues remain after the adjustment period, they can still be addressed by MLB, Epstein said. He referred to remarks by Commissioner Bob Manfred last week as evidence that none of this is necessarily set in stone, and that it is important we continue to listen and be open to adjustments in the future. Make sure we get it right. Through 5 days of regular season games, pitch clock violations have already dipped down below one per game for both teams combined. But MLB will monitor the rate because the ultimate goal is essentially to have as few violations as possible. No one ever really notices the timer. You want to be like the 24-second shot clock in basketball, the delay of game penalty in the NFL, where there's zero point 0.5 delays per game. I've never heard anyone come back from an NFL game and say it was a great game, but the delay of game penalty ruined the whole thing. He said Same with NBA. No one comes back and says the shot clock ruined the game. But down the line, he promised the league is still open to changes to the pitch timer and all of the other rules. We want to hear about players' experiences, what they can't adjust to, and what is available in terms of improving the rule. Now, I don't think anything significant about the rules is going to change, but Commissioner Manfred said the other day it's unlikely that we've got a single thing right about this. Every single thing right about this. And that's important to stay in listening mode, monitor how things play out, and see where we are a couple months down the road. Make improvements as needed. Basically, and then in this interview goes on. That's just a small sampling of what he said, but basically it goes on to talk about shifts and things of that nature. And he gives really poignant and good answers. Change never sleeps. He talks about how there's still potential for making the game better overall, and the change mentality that they are giving us is great because they realize that certain areas of the game needed to be fixed. They fixed them, and we have a different game of baseball today. So that being said, guys, that's all for the bonus coverage, guys. I just wanted to point out some of my observations, some of my thoughts. I'm really enjoying this era of the pitch clock. I really do. I think Theo Epstein is the man to thank here. And he gives really good information. Go read the interview on The Athletic, or you can go listen to The Athletic podcast. I always encourage you guys to look at my sources too, to make your own judgments, not just take my word for it. Really, we're going to do bonus content like this here and there. This will be on as a part of the episode sometimes, or it'll be an extra Brewers Fanatics piece, just depending. So remember, this podcast is a daily podcast, so you can check us out every morning. We upload at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All your favorite platforms. Always check us out. We also do live post-game shows a couple times a week. So remember to check those out as well. And hopefully this week we will see the return of the Butcher for the Butcher's Fresh Cuts. So, guys, that's it. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on all your favorite platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Rumble, you name it, we are there. So thank you guys for watching. As always, go Brewers. And let's get some W's this week. Late games. Good times. All right, thanks for watching, guys. You have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you may be listening to this. Let's get it. Go Brewers. Have a great day. Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, getting listeners. Back again with another episode. This is your only Brewers Daily podcast on the interwebs every day. We upload fresh content 7 days a week. We are talking Brewers. If you want to hop on, I put the StreamYard link in there. You can come on and chat with me. Today was a good Sunday. Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everyone. And the Brewers put it down. We stopped the Cardinals. So it's good to be doing doing well. We're going to talk about the man Christian Yelich today and his good day. But first, before we do that, let's just stop for a timeout. If you need to save money on tickets, we have a code at SeatGeek, $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. Then we also have, if you want to support the channel even more, you can go over to patreon.com/MillerParkMinute and support us there. We are on Apple, Spotify, Twitter, you name it, we're there. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. Today is going to be probably a lighter stream because everybody's celebrating the Easter holiday, and I understand that. So, catching this on the replay, no problem. We appreciate you for being here, one way or another. So this game was on the back of Christian Yelich, and we're going to talk about it in the good, the bad, and the downright ugly today. So it goes without saying that the season so far has been kind of exciting and fun, and we're having a good time. So the good really here today is we got good Christian Yelich today. He had a homer, an RBI, and 2 runs with a 3 for 5 on the day. Obviously, Peralta, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. Freddy Peralta is looking great so far this season, guys, and it's good to see. We also had Willie Adames going 3 for 4 with a homer, double, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. All in all, great game by our top performers and a great performance by Christian Yelich. So is he back now? Is the question, and that's what follows this. Christian Yelich had a great day at the plate. He had a great day. Let's just hope it builds his confidence going forward. They put him at leadoff, and he seems to do okay up there. Let's hope this confidence continues. We had 6 hits. Or I'm sorry, we had 11 hits on 6 runs. I had that backwards today. So pretty much everybody across the board, with the exception of Garrett Mitchell and Anderson and Weimer, got hits. So the big dogs, the guys who've been crushing it the first week did not hit, but the rest of the team picked them up. So that's another positive. That's more of the good. The bad. We'll go back to that. Come back. Excuse me. We'll come back to that. The fact that the bullpen has gone this many games. I mean, Strzelecki came in. No runs allowed. Bush, no runs allowed. Milner, no runs allowed. And, of course, Devin Williams came in. No runs allowed. That is, in and of itself, is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I don't know the exact number of innings. I want to say it's like 27 straight innings without allowing a run from our bullpen. That's awesome, because the bullpen was the biggest question. We've talked about this already. The bullpen was the biggest question going into this season. We didn't know what we had for a bullpen. Obviously, it's doing pretty well so far. So, I just have thought. Oh, Freddy Peralta moves to 2-0 on the season. Freddy has been looking pretty solid. They were talking during the broadcast today about potentially that this could be an interesting go to see how long he stays healthy and to see how long everything goes, because he's jumping from basically 75 innings to trying to go 175 or 200 innings. So, but he got in the best shape of his life. He looks good out there. He's doing great. So props to Freddy Peralta. Time of game today was 2 hours and 49 minutes. Wasn't quite a sellout, 27,000 in attendance. It's a holiday game, so it is going to be what it is going to be with a game on a holiday. The bad of today's game. And this isn't, the bad is not something that's just straight out. It's just the bad of the game. So don't take this as I'm turning the turning on the young, but the young today did not produce. So if you look at the bottom, basically the bottom portion of our lineup, Mitchell through Weimer really accounted for one hit. They're gonna have their days. Mama said there'd be days like this. They're gonna struggle, and that is what it is. So I'm not ruling that as bad. I mean, we still had established players of the team, Christian Yelich and Willie Adames have been with us. They scored. They did the good. They were the good of today. So downright ugly. I am going to give the downright ugly to probably Woodford and Plain, because they were the ones responsible for all the runs today. So the Brewers got to the Cardinals. That's a good thing. We still stand atop the Central Division with today's game, with today's W. Just seeing if there's any violations, and it does not. Does not look like there was any violations today. It was a good day all the way all around for a holiday game. Good stuff. Good stuff. So that's the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of today's Brewers game. Guys, 2-run double, Ronnie Tellez. Williams coming in, getting the final outs. Joey Weimer still out there. And that's the thing about this youth. They're out there contributing in the field too. They're not just bats. At the end of the day, we're not bats. They're not all bats, which is fine. We want them to be contributing fielders as well as bats. We don't just want them to contribute on the batter's half. So very good stuff out of the crew today. 7-2, first place in the NL Central. The Cardinals are 3-6 at 5th place in the NL Central. Good game. Good game. I'm gonna hold out some hope. When we talked bad about Yelich last night, and tonight we're gonna talk good. I'm gonna hold out some hope that this is what he needs to get the ball rolling, get back. So that being said, we are moving on to our next opponent, and we got Arizona. So we go from a day game to a night game at a later time frame. So hold on to your butts. We got Wade Miley on the hill versus Zach Allen, who's 0-1. Wade Miley's 1-0. Zach Allen's got a 7.59 ERA. D-backs are 5-4, so they still got a winning record. They're above 500. Then on Tuesday, we've got Burns versus Kelly, both of which are 0-1. Burns' ERA is struggling a little bit, 9.64, and Merrill Kelly has a 3.86 ERA. So hopefully, we'll hopefully see Corbin Burns figure it out in Arizona. Maybe it's just the warm weather. Who knows? And then we got Woodruff versus TBD. TBD sure gets a lot of starts in the majors, right? So it looks like we did make a move today as well. We acquired Bennett Sousa? It looks like Sousa from the Reds. And then we transferred Ashby to the 60-day IL today. So looks like Sousa had a 8.41 ERA with Chicago last year. So this is a reclamation project. They like what they see out of him. They're probably gonna put him in the pitching lab and hopefully generate something there, which is I'll take it. I mean,
Hauser, as of April 8th, which is yesterday, officially headed to Nashville, to get work in, as he is on his way back. All right, so we're going to run down the best of the stats after today's game. So right now, Brian Anderson is batting .370. Christian Yelich has scored 9 runs. Brian Anderson is leading with home runs with 3. And, well, he's tied. I should say he and Garrett Mitchell are tied at 3. Runs batted in, Brian Anderson. Stolen bases, Bryce Turing. And if we go to pitching, we have Freddy Peralta is leading with 2 wins. Devin Williams is leading, obviously, or is tied for saves with Bryce Wilson. Freddy Peralta has a .75 ERA. Strikeouts, Freddy Peralta has 14. I don't know if that's up to date to the game that just completed or not. And Brandon Woodruff has a .88 whip on the season thus far. So, good stuff. Good game today for the Brew Crew. It's always fun to have a win, especially on a holiday day where you're not watching the Easter Sunday magic, as they call it, the team streak and all that has been super fun over the years. So we are looking forward to it. I see a lot of people got those Giannis jerseys. They look pretty good. They're pretty slick. And let's talk about scores around the league real quick, guys. Real quick, we'll go to the league scores just to check in, just to see. O'Neal Cruz fractured ankle on collision that sparks bench clearing brawl. Oh no. Judge hit 2 homers today. Morrell off to a sizzling start off at Iowa. 7 runs score without a hit. Did you guys see this story? I don't know if you saw this story, but I'm going to talk about this for a minute. So there was a game in Chattanooga, Chattanooga Lookouts versus the Rock City Trash Pandas. And they actually scored 7. The Chattanooga Lookouts scored 7 runs without getting a hit, without the benefit of a hit. So it was a no-hitter that they won without getting a hit. It was 7-5 was the final. Winning pitcher goes by the name is Fisher. Joyce got the loss, and the save was Garcia. The Trash Pandas are an Angels affiliate. And they have the one of the number one hitting or pitching prospects on that team. It's kind of just an interesting thing overall. And you don't see that. So that's super rare. No hitter, but 7 runs scored. Because it's baseball. That's why. Marte exits after sustaining a strain. Next strain on a stolen base. Check out some scores real quick. See if anybody's finished up besides us. Ooh, top of 12, Guardians and Seattle. 6-5 Mariners right now, mid-12. Washington is losing to Colorado 6-7. That's in the end of the 6th. Royals are beating San Fran 1-0. Bottom of 6th. Top of 5th. The
Angels are beating the Blue Jays. Bottom four, D-backs are beating the Dodgers. Reds and Phillies went final at Reds 6, Phillies 4. Boston beat the Tigers 4-1. The Athletics lost to the Rays. The Rays remain undefeated on the season, and it was 11-0. Pittsburgh beat Chicago White Sox 1-0. Yankees beat the Orioles 5-3. Marlins beat the Mets 7-2. The Astros beat the Twins 5-1. Of course, we beat the Cardinals 6-1. And Texas beat the Cubbies 8-2. So that is the updates for scores around the league. We got the news in. Let's see if there's any other news in the Brewers sphere. Welcome to who's ever here live with us right now. Welcome. Remember to go check out our friends at brewerfanatics.com. I got an exclusive video coming up this week in the next 2 to 3 days. So you'll be able to see that at brewersfanatic.com. They've got a little bracket challenge. I'm not going to spoil it, but favorite Brewers player, go over there and see who it is. Just seeing what we got from news real quick. Talked about Jackson Chourio. We already know he's top prospect. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. That's really it in this episode. Happy Easter to you guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching and being a part of this channel. Thank you. As always, remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast platform. And we will check you next time. Thanks for watching, and go Brewers.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.